Hello everyone and welcome to the Manufacturers Cup review. It's the FIA Season 3 review and of course it is all about Peugeot. As you can see, we signed for Peugeot. Little did we know about the fantastic story we'd have this season with the car. So obviously we've got a Group 4 car there, front wheel drive. Struggles a lot with corners, very fast in a straight line. So again, very interesting, very hard on its tyres as well. So it would bring some interesting racing. Then the Group 3 car, all about handling, not about faster down the straight, not about having a top speed. So again, more interesting racing to come with the season. And that is literally what we got this season. Little did I expect this much action. And when I edited this, I was stunned out my mind. So here we go with the first race. This is Manufacturers Round 1. This is Dragon Trail Gardens. And we are in the Group 4 car. Delivery done by Mr. Racing Line. So initially, of course, we start here, and we start near the back of the grid. It's a track that is not good for front-wheel drive. Not good for this car at all, and I had to pit an extra time as well. And that was just inevitable, just with the way the track is. It's very fast, some very long sweeping corners. It's just very hard to race. So I had to just push like hell and actually have a little bit of fun. So apologies if you hear my voice in the background. Some of these are from the live stream, some of these are from the live stream, but when I managed to get multiple audio tracks. But even so, we'll look to make moves on Gatos in this race. Now, Gatos will feature quite a lot in this race, if you remember that race. In fact, all the races are going to be in the description. So if there's a race you want to watch again, maybe this race, maybe one of the others, do check out the description and you can actually go and watch the full live stream. As you can see, we're side by side with Gatos. We've got to be careful of obviously understeering, being in a front wheel drive car. Understeers quite a lot. Through there Gatos goes, and then we've just got to settle in behind a little bit here. You can see all the cars up ahead. The first few laps in a Group 4 car, absolutely no problem in any of the cars. The tyres fairly okay, but obviously significant tyre wear. The RCZ front wheel drive cars start to then lose their momentum and start to fall back into the field and further back as we go a lap later. So Gatos is over the back of Patton in the Aston Martin. We're obviously on the back of Gatos as well. So we go to the inside here, and Gatos actually touches us here, and you might be able to hear.
What to happen there?
Do we hear it? And you can see a lot of cars behind us.
I have no idea what these guys are doing. Apparently, if you're on the inside, they don't care.
There we go, as you heard. So basically what happened there, Gatos literally went for the move, didn't realise I was there, there was contact, ping distance, etc. He went wide, he blamed me for that initially, he's watched it since and apologised. And then we continue racing because we managed to gain 2 positions because of it. Now, this is the move of, well, one of the moves of the season in this Group 4 car. So, as you can see, we've got MX Steve up ahead, and we've also got Tiger Hayes. And obviously, as I said earlier, this car is good on the straight lines, but listen and watch this.
Ah! Oh my god, what a move!
As you heard there, what a move down through the middle. Got called the Moses maneuver by you guys in chat. And what an absolutely epic one it was. And fair play to Steve and Tiger Hayes because they were both clean, both fair racings. A big shout out to those guys as well. Absolutely brilliant. You don't see that move very often. And you don't see it done very often, very cleanly in between 2 cars. But, you know, we saw it. We had a good race. We then had to obviously pit again, which we did. And then we get to the final lap, which I've just advanced to now because obviously, as I say, this race, if you want to watch the full race, do check out the description. It is in there. But we come 11th, which is not too bad in a front wheel drive car at this circuit. We did lose time to those guys battling, as I just said on the live stream. But even so, you know, I can't expect to get really far up the grid. It is what it is at the end of the day. And as you can see, somebody there on the line, Marcella, having to really slow down for those penalties. And we got 11th. Not too bad, as I say. But it shows the imbalance in Group 4. And that's what we had to fight in the entire season. So then we went to Saint Croix B, I think this is. And we're in Group 3 this time. So this is a really good track. This became one of my favourites. We never tried it before. We got a good start. Standing starts in Group 3. And as you can see, Cupid getting a good start there as well. We overtook Fairview cars there. And then we're coming to this first corner. Car very heavy initially from the fuel, so we just get a bit of understeer here. And again, remember, this car is not fast in a straight line. It's all about the handling. So in the straights, we are going to struggle, but then in the handling sections we are going to fly, which makes it very difficult for overtaking, because obviously in most overtaking situations you're normally the faster car in a straight line, you go into the braking zone side by side, you've got the inside, you get the position. We can't necessarily do that in this car. We've got to brake later, try and really use our strength of the handling to our advantage. So as we come into this bridge section now, obviously we're staying with the top 3 at this point, which is exactly what we want. We want to stay with these, get the slipstream, try and save fuel, try and jump them in the pits. That was the goal here. As I say, this isn't the fastest car, and as you see, more straight lines, long straights here. This is where we struggle as we come into the braking zone. So I go into this braking zone, and we just mistimed it a little bit there with the braking, and we nearly went into the barrier. We saved it, of course. Matthew Collin goes through, and then we've also got Marcella behind us and B Gatos, Katong Axel in there as well. So we keep to the inside, we give room on our outside, but obviously that compromises our exit in a car that is already slow on the straights. We can't get the slipstream either, so Gatos obviously makes that advantage, basically goes to the inside, and the Moses maneuver we just saw is now backwards because we've just been, it's like rewinding, but in Group 3 we got lost in 2 positions there. Really unfortunate stuff. Coming into this braking zone, I know I could be better on the brakes because I'm in the RCZ Group 3 car. So obviously we give Gatos a bit of room on the old exit there, but he's going to have a better run out there. It just bogged down a little bit, and we're back down to 7th position. So a lot to do. Super GT behind us as well, so congratulations to him. He got 100k subscribers during the season as well. But we got a lot to do in this race. Let's see what happens a little bit later on. As you see, we get a run on Gatos again in the handling section, but again Gatos is just going to extend that gap, so I have to just let off here. I don't want to lose a lot of time here behind Gatos, fighting Gatos. I want to stay with the lead pack. That's the goal here. So let's advance a little bit further in the race to lap number 4. So as you can see, we've overtaken Gatos at this point, and we're right behind Matthew Collin. The first 4 have sort of built up their gap a little bit. There was just a bit of fighting here between us 3 that I didn't really want. To me, you know, if the handling car is coming up to a handling section, let them go and then catch them up in the straight line sections. You'll both gain loads of time that way. Matthew Collin just runs a little bit wide here. I thought I'd include this. Just goes onto the grass, spins, nearly clips Gatos there. So we get another position just through a bit of luck, really. And you can see our gap now to VP Marcella at 1.4 seconds. So we've got that to catch up as well as we just come through the handling section. You can see that we gain very quickly, and we can pull ahead of any other car really in the handling section, just because of the way the car set up and the way it's balanced in GT Sport. So we go to lap number 9, and we did catch up to Marcella in the pits, but then we lost out a little bit in the pits, and then we're battling with Cuba Tom for this 4th position. We've been in the battle for quite a while, as you see, we're side by side at this point. Going to the first corner, obviously I can brake a slightly bit later in this RCZ Group 3 car, give Cuba Tom a little bit of space on the outside. Obviously this is going to be some flat out action this last lap. Remember, this race is in the description if you want to watch the full thing. It's very, very good racing. We are going to watch the entire of this last lap because I think this is some brilliant racing, brilliant clean racing, which is what we want to see. So I have to compromise there on the entrance. It's an off-camber corner, off-camber left-hander. I'm going to lose a lot of time by staying on the outside, let Cuba Tom go, try and get back onto the racing line and try and make the move later on in the lap. Coming into these sweeping S's now. I love this part of the circuit. Feels absolutely amazing if you get this right in the car. Try and keep to the left to get a really nice run onto the bridge. Cuba Tom struggling with his tyres a little bit here. Come through there, absolutely no problem. So obviously Cuba Tom going to go defensive here, of course, because we're on the bridge. It's going to be fast, but as you can see, he initially gets that pace. And then going to start catching him with slipstream. Cuba Tom goes defensive again onto the left and then back onto the racing line. He knows I can't make a move from there. I'm not a dive bomber, as you guys know. I will race fair, clean and fair. Maybe it's a weakness in my racing, I don't know, but I'd prefer to just have a clean race and have a good battle with somebody than to potentially risk damage and potentially risk ruining someone else's race. As you can see, Cuba Tom gets quite a bad exit there, so now we're right behind Cuba Tom, and this is where you're going to see the strength of the Aston Martin a little bit over the RCZ on the straight lines. So look, we're still not gaining, we start to gain now, so we go to the inside. That's a lot of slipstream that took us to get to that point. As you can see, we're going to start to even up again as we go into the braking zone. As we saw earlier, this car is better in the braking zone. Coming into the braking zone, we try and just outbrake Cuba Tom. We just do it. Do run a little bit deep, but this track's wide enough. We give Cuba Tom enough on the exit. We're now side by side for the handling section. Can we do it in the handling section? Cuba Tom, unfortunately, on the inside there. So here we go. So we just a little tap there. There's nothing malicious in that. Coming into this next corner, I know Cuba Tom's going to try and go as fast as he can. I do this on purpose to try and get a really tight line, to try and get a run coming up to the last corner. Don't unfortunately get that run, so coming into the last corner now, it's all about the exit. I try my hardest to get a good run here, but Cuba Tom just kept the line. Really nice line by Cuba Tom to defend that position, and he's just going to get that 4th place from me there. But not too bad of a race result there, coming in second place in that race, and on a very, very fast circuit. So let's go to round number 3. So this is Dragon Trail, and we're seeing quite a few Dragon Trail races in Group 4. And again, in the RCZ, Group 4 cars. So obviously it's going to be fast on the straights, and we're going to struggle with tyre wear. As you can see straight away, we're catching a Mustang at a fair pace of knots here. So we go to overtake TX3 Adam on the left-hand side, obviously the left-hand corner, so we try and do that. Obviously we've got to try and get past as quick as we can. We've got to be wary of the cars in front, so Adam there just keeps the inside a little bit here, but I've got the outside, and I've got the outside running. Adam is a very clean driver as well, lets me have some space there, and it gives me a good run then on Ian Kane and Matthew Collin up ahead in both GT86s. Coming into this right-hander here, we're looking to try and make moves. It's very difficult in this car. As I say, it's front-wheel drive. We're going to struggle with apex speeds. That's the big place we're going to lose. So we accelerate out there, absolutely no problem. We're going to have a little bit of a run on Matthew Collin coming into this left-hander. Again, apex speeds are an issue, so we're going to have to brake because we'll get understeer if we try and go too quick, and that would obviously force Matthew off the circuit. We don't do that. We continue through there. We're trying to get a run here as best as we can with M. Thomas right behind us, TX3 Adam in there as well. Lots of cars in there. And this is sort of the first experience of the pug train a little bit, because obviously we are going to struggle with tyre wear here. As you can see, Matthew Collin getting mugged here from the left and from the right by M. Thomas. Look at the TV camera now. Side-by-side action through that corner. Really, really clean racing. Unfortunately for M. Thomas, this thing has nitrous. We're going to start accelerating, and at this point it becomes my corner, so I can take the racing line. You only go single file through here, so that's the way you should work it generally on this track. Single file it, whichever car is ahead, they get the position, and then just fight after it. You've got a big long straight here. As you can see, M. Thomas going to look for the move down in towards the last corner. Is he going to do it? Doesn't quite do it. Give him room, a little bit of room there, because I wasn't fully sure. And obviously we've got radar, we haven't got a rear view camera, which is really frustrating. But again, we're gonna have to run on the exit. M. Thomas giving me enough room there, and I'm just gonna start powering on. Overtake M. Thomas, and then hopefully get to the first corner before he does. Of course, at this point, he's obviously then thinking, right, well, I'm going to struggle to get past initially here because lots of straights. This RCZ is going to be good on the straights, but in the corners, he's going to be rapid. So, obviously, if we get to a really handling section and he's close, I would let him go, but you know, he's got to get to that point first. I'm not going to battle too much if we approach a handling section, because that wouldn't be very smart. But we continue on all the same to lap number 10. So, a lot of things have happened in this race. We're now catching up to M. Thomas again. M. Thomas went for the undercut and got the undercut. That's how he overtook me. And we're up in 8th position at this point. Obviously, it's going to be some epic battling towards the end. If you look on the TV camera, sorry, you can see M. Thomas there. M. Thomas just hit me a little bit there, let me come back on circuit. Very clean or sportsmanlike conduct to let me back on and let me keep the position. Got a penalty, which is a bit unfortunate. Obviously, people make mistakes. Just went a little bit too deep on the braking zone. Remember, I'm going to brake earlier than everybody else as well, being in a front-wheel drive car, and the apex speed. If you look at the TV camera again, there we have a GTR, we have a 458, we've got the F-Type, and we've got a Mustang. Was that a Mustang? There's something in there anyway, but Pug Power, as you can see in the chat, thank you for the support on these live streams, guys. Absolutely epic. Through the S's we go now. Actually, it's an Evo in there. The Mustang a bit further back to 3 Adam in that Mustang. As we continue on now towards this right-hander. And I think there might be some contact. So if we look at the TV camera, not with me, but if you look at the TV camera, what happens here? Yeah, there's just a slight bit of contact there, I think, which unfortunately means M. Thomas goes into Steve as well. A bit unfortunate. Obviously, we saw Steve earlier on at Dragon Trail Gardens. Very clean racer. Very unfortunate for that. But anyway, we keep racing on. We've got this little bit of a gap. We're going to continue on through the chicane. Obviously, we've got to be very careful in this car about hitting that barrier with that understeer. A lot of cars still behind us. Obviously, this is the initial beginnings of that Pug Train, but obviously nobody really mentioned it at this point. It was later on in the season when Pug Train really came out and came into fashion. Or a trend, should I say, rather than fashion. But through that last corner we go. M. Thomas right on our back door here. Really close to us as we accelerate towards the line. So obviously going to try and get a good run here. If he gets enough slipstream, after a while he will overtake. So he's in the same situation as the RCZ Group 3 car in that class. Versus me in this class. So he goes towards the inside, and under the braking he will have the inside here, so I've just got to fall in behind basically. Very clean move there by M. Thomas. Through we go. We can potentially look at overtaking again, but too much wheel spin, so we're going to come behind here. This corner again is not too wide for the RCZ, and Steve looking to overtake as well, but comes back in again. Very sensible driving by Steve. Really clean racer, and you can see there's lots of cars still in this fight for this 8th position. in this round 3 Manufacturers Cup race. Fuel, absolutely no problem at this point as we finally come into the S's again. Absolutely no issue at all. We did jump a lap as well there if you saw the sneaky merge, but yes, we continue on now through there. Thomas running a little bit wide. That cost him a little bit of time. Obviously this allows me to catch up a little bit towards him as we head towards that right-hander and then the chicane as well. So as we come down here, Thomas cleanly through. I'm in third gear here to stop as much wheel spin as I can. Hopefully we then get into that power band as quick as possible, which we do, and it allows us to accelerate on. Steve then going to have to pull in behind again. Steve must have been frustrated at this point to be behind the Group 4 RCZ. I know Thomas was, he did mention that in chat later on, because it's very hard to overtake this car. It is so fast, and PD have buffed it again in terms of speed during the off season, so it'll be interesting to see how cars handle that that factor. As you can see, we're still close to Thomas, and he runs a little bit wide there. You can just see he's understeering a little bit, obviously 1 lap older on the tyres, so he's going to struggle there, but he's got a penalty to take, and he goes towards the left hand side. I'm not sure whether he runs out of fuel there as well, but we get that position, we slow down, and we cross the line and get that 8th position. So not a bad race really in this Group 4 car. Again, you won't see very many Peugeot RCZs in the top split, and even anywhere near that. And then we go to round number 4. Now, sorry about the quality in this. I had to get it from YouTube and the live stream we did. This was the RCZ Group 3's strongest circuit. Unfortunately, it's a grid start, which is a bit of we're one of the better starters, but as you're about to see in a second, that Honda absolutely flies.
Power, yo.
As you heard, VTEC power, yo. So into this first corner we go. So Benson on my right hand side here, just going to come along, just taps me a little bit. That upsets the car, and that's going to, we would have caught it there, but just as you hit that slant or the banking on the circuit, you always catch a car there, it stabilises it. Unfortunately, just before that, he hit me again, and that spanned the car, and that really cost us this race. We needed a fantastic race here. There was 2,900 points on offer, and we really needed it. You'll see that in chat in a second. That people were gutted, and I was really frustrated with that move, because remember, the race isn't won on lap 1. If you make first contact, just back it off. Benton does say sorry afterwards. Obviously racing incidents happen. At the time, obviously I'm going to be annoyed. You move on from these incidents. He said sorry. You know, what else can he do? Do you know what I mean? What else can I do? I've just got to continue racing and try my best. As you can see, side by side with Lightning here. Lightning gives up that position, coming into this corner. Nearly tapped the wall there, but we're on the straight bit now. This is going to be a problem for the RCZ to catch up. And remember, because we span as well, the tyre wear, being a multiplier, has had a significant amount more wear than any other car at this point. Because we span, the wheels obviously get friction, and we lose grip, and we've lost a lot of grip compared to everybody else. So coming into this first corner again, we're trying to go around the outside of Lightning at this point, which is very difficult to do. We do keep that position for now as we continue racing. We're just going to advance another lap here. So as you can see, Lightning then overtaking this Renault RS01 as we then come into this right-hander. Unfortunately, Spurgey hits the Renault, which hits me. The Renault then spins out, or nearly spins out, sorry, but then Spurgey takes advantage of this. I wasn't happy with that at all, because Spurgey caused that incident. He should have just stayed behind. He wouldn't have been overtaken there, even if he'd just tapped me, and then there was more nudges by different people there. Just need to calm it down a little bit. Obviously, if you're already frustrated and people keep nudging you, I was getting really frustrated at this point. Really frustrated. Even so, we continue on with the race. Now, the problem here is that I'm behind Spurgey. My tyres have more wear because of the spin, and we're going to struggle to get past. So this actually costs us a very significant amount of time. So that small knock into that guy which hit me, which then gave Spurgey 2 positions, is significant enough to affect my race. Then we didn't actually see Spurgey in any of the races. I don't know if he did anymore, but I was very frustrated by it, because you should not push to pass in this car. As you see there, a slight tap there just from the inside. Spurgey slowing down a lot on the apex. Matty then gaining that position. You can see how much he slowed down there. So as we come into here, we've got to settle behind as well, looking to make the move, but it's on the outside here, so this isn't really going to work. Does it work? Wow, look at that. But unfortunately, we lose a lot of speed there, so Matty potentially can come at us. We're on the grass as we continue on to the final lap. So as you can see, we're in 12th position. We'd actually gained, when we finally got past Spurgey, we annihilated the lap times. I mean, look at how far this man is behind us. So I can't remember, it was like lap 14 or something, and we went for it like a second a lap easy. We were gaining on people. And you can see the significance. Lap 16 was my fastest lap. That's 4 or 5 laps of tyre wear already on the car, and we're very close to the fastest lap. We were seriously on it, and I was really frustrated that we didn't actually manage to win this race, because I think we would have been well up there, if not winning that race. Congratulations to Slent and Key. As I say, Benson apologised. Spurgey was just like, why is it my fault, etc. And he couldn't have done anything different. Personally, I think he could have done something different. But again,
that was
we move on from that race, and that was very frustrating. So we're on the back foot at this point on getting Peugeot to the World Finals. So then we go to round number 5. And we're at Tokyo Expressway. Again, apologies for the quality. It's only these two last race and this race where I've had to go back to the live stream. So this is a very, 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 very fast circuit. I mean, it's one of the fastest circuits in Gran Turismo, and they use it quite a bit. So the RCZ's weakest track, more than likely. And as you can see, we're starting 10th position. Slipstream is going to be the key factor here. And as you can see, we're being mugged already. We couldn't keep up with the cars in front. The RCZ is that slow. We were getting mugged from behind. So Devil goes round the outside. Fab does as well. We broke quite early there, kept to the inside. And that actually benefited us because we actually kept the position at the end of the day. And we managed to catch up to these guys. Now, obviously, with a handling car, we're going to have to be really, really strong in the handling section, which is kind of risky in this sort of environment. You hit the barrier, you're going to lose a second of time. So we have to risk it in the handling section and be bloody quick at the same time. So we do that in this race. We do try and push ourselves as we come up to this chicane. This is where most of the time it will be gained. As you can see, we can do that far better than most cars. Look at this. Gaining. We have to short shift at this point just to make sure we don't catch up to Bollock and force an overtake. We want to make sure the pack stays together. If the pack stays together, we have a chance of victory. Anybody has a chance of victory. As we continue now towards the sort of last sector of the circuit, or second to last sector, into the fast sections again. This is also handling through there. We go to hit 3. Adam up ahead. We seem to be racing Adam a lot, but he is a very clean racer, so I'm always happy to race Adam as we head towards the last corner here. Could be a little bit of an incident here, but it's just a mistake again. And if you look at the radar, just into the braking zone. He tried to avoid me, to be fair. So if you saw the radar there, he went to the left and tried to sort of skim the wall to slow himself down. If I'd have noticed that a bit clearer, I'd have tried to dart out of the way really fast, so he would have to run on the left hand side. Again, you could see that mistake happening, but we didn't lose anything. Fab lost more than anybody there, and we continue racing now. So we go to lap number 7. This is where we've got to get a bit sneaky. So at this point, it's all about strategy. Remember my saying, you race clean, you race fair, and you race smart. So we're going to race smart at this point. We've been racing fair and clean. Let's race smart. You can see a penalty on Adam already. We're going to push him along towards the handling section. The handling section obviously being the first sector and second sector. We'll push him along until we get to that point. So as you can see, a lot of bumper drafting going on. Tommy Kuhn behind us, bumping us along. I'm then going to go to the inside. This is sort of a signal to CX3 Adam. I'm in the handling car. Let me go, mate, here. You can catch me again on the straights, and we'll all be happy through the handling section as well. As you can see, we've already caught up to the other guys through that little bit of teamwork, which is what you should do on these circuits. I mean, you know, up ahead of this pack is another pack of cars, and then obviously the racers further ahead are in their own pack. So we do that for a few laps. Tier 3 Adam is behind us. We actually lost Adam a little bit there. And we're behind X Paxu, I think he's called. As again, we're getting the slipstream here, which is exactly what we want. As we continue on fastest lap for us there, not of the race, of course, because we don't have a fast car. So again, we're just going to keep bumper drafting along towards the handling section. He will whack his hazards on.
Yes, keep going, lad, keep going. Stop whacking your hazards on, go.
I get a bit excited by that. He's saying thank you. But at this point, I then want to make the move. I'm the better car in the handling section. Let me go here, mate, and then it will help you along as well. So we get a nice clean run there. We can brake later than this guy. And then there we see Devil and Fab up ahead. So again, through the handling section we go. Through the right-hander. We're going to advance a little bit further now, as we go to lap number 11. So tier 3 Adam had caught us up again. And again, you can see up ahead, we're very close to the other guys. We've dropped X Paxu as we come into the braking zone. So I wanted here to just be behind Adam. I don't have a penalty. Again, race smart, you know, and race clean. If you don't have a penalty, you're going to gain positions. IndyFood just dropped it there a little bit, so we gain another position. We wanted top 10 in this race. We're now in top 10. Anything else is a bonus, and this is where racing clean and racing smart really helps you out. So we lost a little bit to tier 3 Adam there, just on the exit. We didn't want to wheel spin or cause any issues there, or spin the car at all. But I know there's penalties coming up. So Adam goes to the right, Devil goes to the left. A few other guys on the line. We get 6th.
take that.
Exactly as I say there. We'll take that, because that is an unbelievable result on this circuit in this car. I mean, look at how all the fast cars behind us. We've got the Mustang, we've got the M6, we've got the RCF, got the GTRs behind us, and we're getting 6th position here at Tokyo. Unbelievable result. So we go to our first top 24 superstars. That result got us in the top 24 superstars as well, guys, which is unbelievable. And this was the start of it in a bizarre fashion. So it's a bit broken, the rolling start. So we'd already lost a huge amount of time to the leaders at this point. I mean, look, the leaders are already halfway down the straight. And then we've got 3, 4, 5 wide up ahead. Unbelievable stuff. And you know what? Everybody races clean through this first corner. Unbelievable driving by everybody. Remember, this is being commentated on as well. And look at this. Unbelievable driving, as I say. Very clean from everybody. Big shout out to every single person in this pack. RC Racer, Matty, Jamie, Animals in there. Manu Rodriguez in there. Just unbelievable stuff. Now, obviously, similar to Dragon Trail Gardens, this is going to be handling circuits in terms of the long sweeping corners. Front wheel drive car, long sweeping corners, doesn't really like it. So at this point, I was racing for fun anyways. I didn't really care where I came, I just wanted to have a laugh. And that's the main thing. When you're at the back of the pack or you're in a car that's not as strong, have a laugh, have some fun with it. Not everybody can win the race. Not everybody loses, because if you have fun, how are you losing? You're having a bloody good time. And I'll tell you what, I had a brilliant time with Jamie throughout this race, as you will see in these highlights. So through there we go, absolutely no problem, into the left, and we're going to keep going. So we are going to advance a little bit further on in the race now, because this is how it stays pretty much. Me and Jamie tussle for position. We go to lap number 7. I've already stopped once, and these guys are obviously only doing 1 stop. I'm doing 2 stops. Coming into this first corner, we've got Derek there in the front wheel drive. The Scirocco very good on its tyres compared to the RCZ. I do think it's RCZ specific, the tyre wear, because if you drive any of the other front wheel drive cars, they can turn. This car cannot turn to save its life, which is why it scrubs its tyres constantly. But as you see, UAB and Derek got very lucky to get out ahead of me here, and unfortunately for the guys behind, they weren't so lucky. They weren't so lucky. As you can see, there's Manson. We've got Matty in there as well. I think Matty was doing a 2 stop as well. Excuse me, just got to get a drink. We've been talking for so long already. As you can see there, they're pulling away from us straight away. Manson very much quicker than us through there. Remember, we're on older tyres than these guys now at this point. We're just trying to survive and have a bit of fun here at the same time. Now you could say, why are you fighting, Tid? You're on a completely different strategy. I'm more than likely going to come last in this race irrespective. So I'm going to have fun here. It's up to the other drivers to try and overtake me clean. They know I race clean. So, as you know, they can go for the move. I will happily not fight too hard. But if I have a run on them, I will obviously try and take that position back. I'm racing for fun. Let's have some fun. And these guys absolutely have fun with me here. It's brilliant racing. Brilliant, brilliant racing. Manson going down the inside here. I'm just going to get a run through. The cutback working very well here. Obviously, I've got the power up the hill in this RCZ Group 4 car. Coming to the left-hander. We have the line there. Just enough of the line so we can continue on. We're not losing that much time to UAB or Derek, to be honest with you, to say we are in older tyres. A front-wheel drive car that doesn't want to turn as well. So as we come through this double right-hander, you can see that arrow of Manson gets very close again very, very quickly as we then hit the left-hander and we continue on towards the next lap. So obviously, if I'm 2 stopping at this point, it's lap 10 I'm going to come in. That is where I do come in. So we accelerate towards the line, and as you can see behind us, there's Manson. As we come into the braking zone, they can't catch me on the straights. I can also catch everybody else on the straights. That's the only nice thing about this car, really. Personally, I think this Group 4 car needs a retune or something. You can keep giving it power all you want. It's still not going to stop the issue of tyre wear. It needs a retune. As you can see by the stream, oh my god, the Pug is actually doing alright. But that's going to change in a second, because obviously the tyre's going to start dropping off. As you can see, they're already nearly a quarter down, and we've done, what, 4 laps on them? No, this is our 4th lap on them. As we continue on. There we go, Pug Train! Choo choo! Oh, brilliant stuff. So through this right-hander we go. Manson's going to get an absolutely brilliant run. We saw that on the last lap, how much speed he could carry. As you see, Lloyd's mentioning the tyre wear burning quickly. Into the left-hander. Look at Hellfire, the train! Here we go. So I give Manson some room on the outside. As I say, they know I will race clean. I will give room where I can see it. So I have to give room here as well. Front wheel drive wanting to understeer. So Manton getting the move done there. Doing it in the right place as well. So then we've got Matty on our right side. Then you have Key come down the middle. Another Moses manoeuvre. You don't see these very often. We've got 3 in this video. How bonkers is that? Look at everybody everywhere here. This is just bonkers. How clean this is when everybody is pretty frustrated that I'm there as well. M. Thomas getting through there in the Ferrari as well. I mean, GT Alex says it there. The pack is so respectful. Everyone was so respectful here. Everybody racing clean, racing fair. This is just my kind of racing, to be honest. I don't care where I come in a race. I've said this all my life. All my time racing. I don't care where I come. I don't care if I'm first or last. As long as it's fun, clean, fair, I don't care. I could be the slowest guy in the world as long as I have a fun race. No crashing into each other. Oh, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Choo-choo all the way. So we continue on with this race. So obviously we've got another lap and we've got more cars to fight with. I'm showing you quite a few of these laps or this part of the race just because it's so fun. And that's the thing we got from this season, wasn't it? We had so much fun in the Peugeot. We essentially created a story out of nothing. People enjoyed the story of the Peugeot in Europe, fighting in the top splits, in a car which shouldn't really be there and is definitely one of, if not the slowest in terms of race pace. And look at us, we're just having fun. Just run on the grass a little bit there. Jonas with a good move into that first and second corner. And then we've got T3 Adam next there. Just taps me slightly. Obviously, I'm struggling a lot at this point. Everyone's saying pit in this lap, pit in this lap. We are going to pit in this lap. Don't you worry. As we continue on. And look at that, more and more guys behind us waiting to get past this pug train. Really struggling now. TX3 Adam was looking on the inside. Couldn't quite do it there in that Ford Mustang. Again, look behind. Arrows everywhere. Arrows absolutely everywhere. How fun was this race? Guy Pickman getting the move on Adam there into this left. Then we have the right-hander. Again, struggling with the tyres. We've got traction control on to try and sort of halt that tyre wear a little bit, but it's only helping a tiny bit as we continue now through this right-hander. This is obviously where we're going to have the advantage. We've got the advantage with the pace as we continue on now. There's Sky Pickman, got the pace in that Lexus. That Lexus very quick as well. As we come down towards the right-hander, he's obviously going to brake a lot later than I can. And through he goes, and we sort of get stuck behind him there. Oh, a bit of contact there between Adam and Jamie. Obviously the Mustang taking its real-life counterpart's profile there with the spinning and sliding and stuff. Good job there was no crowd there. As we continue on, so Jamie going to go for the move down the inside. I've got to give him space here. I could have defended a little bit, I suppose. Again, I'm after having fun in this race. I'm not after aggressive defensive driving here. As you see, Animal gets a really good run here. Fotherast as well right behind us. At this point, Adam losing a lot here. So 2 Hungarians behind us now. Fotherast on the outside. And obviously, we're going to pit this lap because we have to. 0.1 lap of fuel left. Into the left. We nail that perfectly. However, this is the last lap now. As you see, we had a fun battle with Jamie. Jamie's now going to go to the left. I'm going to stick in the middle. We're both going to try and serve our slowdowns. I don't serve mine quick enough, and Jamie gets the position. Bit frustrating, but oh my word, how fun was that race. Again, that race in the description if you want to go and watch it, because it's bloody brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, and yeah, the points, 192. What? It's top 24. How is that 192 points? But whatever. We carry on as we go to Monza. Now, we did skip round 7 because that was Willow Springs, and it was awful. Absolutely awful. So, round 8, we couldn't get in the top 24, so we then joined this race. Again, Monza, fast track. RCZ Group 3 car, not a fast car. So, we've got to be careful here. And obviously, Monza, turn 1, every split had a crash. And we always knew that was going to happen here. So, we get an alright start. Patton gets a pretty good start as well. So, I've got to give him room on the right-hand side. I'm going to go to the left-hand side as we come into the braking zone. Brake early. Patton, I think, releases the brake here a little bit. I'm not sure what happens there. Taps Garassa into that corner. And then there's little bits of contact here, there, and everywhere. Garassa loses the rear end in that Mustang. We get a SR down there for some reason. Not sure why. Patton getting a 5-second penalty there, which I think may have been deserved, really, because he did hit Garassa there. And obviously, Garassa is now not in the standings at all as we head down towards his left-hander. So 6th place so far is good. I believe we needed top 5, which is what we wanted. Top 3 would have been even better, but top 5 is exactly where we wanted to be. So we were happy at this point. We just needed a good, clean race. Now, we were always going to do a non-stop in this because that's the only advantage we could gain anywhere. This car is fairly good on fuel. I think it had a fuel adjustment or something adjusted during the season, which did help it as well, as we then come into the right-hander. And we can see we're right behind De Heiser, but the instant we get onto any straight, the power cars go for it. It's the M6, the Aston Martin. They can just power ahead of us, and then we slowly catch them up towards the end of the slipstream. We're going to struggle with that as we then come into the braking zone. Oh yeah, there's an SLS in there as well, of course, a VP Toby Thunder. So through there we go. Again, happy days, absolutely no problem. Obviously, you might remember this race as the one where I had a bit of a rage or complaint for like half an hour. But even so, we'll get to that in a little bit, because obviously that's going to come up, of course. As we continue towards the Parabolica, in there we go. As you can see, the handling part of the circuits, we can gain so much. And that's what we had to do. We just had to stay with these guys. If they had to pit, they had to pit. And that's how we would gain the positions. Obviously, being in 6th position at this point, we're in a fairly good spot if we're non-stopping. As we continue towards the first corner now. And you can see here, this is how much we lose out in the straights. This is how much we do lose. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Top speed is significant. And we will focus on that a bit more in the pop test. As you see, Indy Food hits me there. Trying to outbrake everybody. Very silly. Very, very silly. Nobody can outbrake everybody into that corner. You have to be respectful as we continue on. So at the end of lap 2 at this point, Indy Food going for the move on the right-hand side. I'm obviously staying behind De Heiser in the slipstream. So he gives me that as well. So thank you very much, sir. And we're going to go towards the right-hand side at this point. Go for the inside, because that's the best place for a handling car. Interviewed, then going for the left-hand side. Into the braking zone we go. Another Moses manoeuvre. How many of these are we going to have in this video? Good, clean move by both of us there. Good, clean move by Indy Food, as we then continue on as well. So, we could try and get a run on Indy Food at this point, but again, the initial acceleration, we're going to lose out to every single car. Except the Renault. I think the Renault might be in the same place as us at the moment in terms of its pace. So we continue on towards the second chicane here. Nowhere to go. Into the braking zone. Into the left-hander. And then the right. We just click the gravel there. So we're going to lose a little bit of time to Indy Food there. And obviously this is where the annoyance comes a little bit later on. As I said earlier, you got to race smart in these. If you're in the faster car, overtake on the straights. If there's a handling car that's overtaken and you're approaching a handling section, let them go. You'll catch them up and you'll gain more time because of it. So as you see, Indy Food made a mistake there, so I'm going to accelerate round. But this showed you that power difference between these cars, because we had a clear, good, 4 or 5 mile an hour overrun. And look, Indy Food is now equal, and now he goes for the move at Ascari. Ascari, not a good place to make the move. Pushes me wide essentially, which then means De Heiser has to really slow down. I think there might have been contact there. Again, I was really frustrated with this.
The dude literally has no sense at all on how the hell to race Monza or race at all.
There you go. So I literally said there, you know, no idea how to race, etc. I was just frustrated. But as I say, you race smart in these races. If you're going for every position on every corner every single time, you are not going to win races. You're not even going to do well in races, because it's silly. Silly. And you both lose so much time. If he'd have just waited till after Ascari, then he would have actually gained more time, because of it, because he gets a massive slipstream, overshoots me, happy days, he's through, and then there's another long straight after that. He pulls away from me. Again, he's clean through. You know, you race smart in these races. That's what you got to do. And that's how people gain, like some of the top drivers will gain a lot of points. Some of the top drivers aren't the fastest in one lap. They're the fastest in the races. As we accelerate a little bit, we're going to advance to a little bit further on, because I want to show you some really smart driving now, which happened in this race as well by Calster. Calster did something very, very smart. And, you know, I promote good driving, I promote bad driving. This is some bloody brilliant driving, I've got to say. Maybe a little bit risky, because it could be seen as risky, because if it doesn't work, I hit him. But as we come up to here now, Calster obviously sees me catching. Look at that. Makes himself invisible, takes the penalty, doesn't lose that much time because of it. Stays on the racing line, but loses his penalty. Really smart driving. Real big shout out to Calster there. It was bloody brilliant, to be honest.
Good sense on how to drive.
Absolutely brilliant stuff. So as you can see, fuel wise, we are just about there, only just. We need 5 laps of fuel to go, and we've pretty much got that going towards the end of the race. As we come around the Parabolica, Indy Food does go into the pits as well eventually. Again, what was the point of the overtake? See, he's so far back now behind the other guys. That's why you don't make silly overtakes. But he did apologise for it after and said, I'm sorry, I need to calm myself down a little bit, which is fair enough. Because he has sort of built up this reputation for going for overtakes constantly or being very aggressive in terms of driving. As you can see, Patton also went in the pits and he's got a big penalty. And I said I wanted top 5 in this race. I'm in 5th position. I'm about to get 4th position. I get extremely lucky or happy with this result. I'm not sure what you would say.
Indie Food, we probably could have even got higher there.
We could have got higher if it wasn't for that move, but 4th position in a car which is not fast on straights. I was happy. I was bloody happy. And then we get to round 9. Mission Impossible 1. This was where we needed a top 5 or 4 result again, I think it was, in order to make the top 10, or in order to even try and make the top 24 Superstars race, which is round number 10. So as you can see, we start 3rd place. We had a brilliant qualifying. I practiced this combo a lot, and this is why I was so far up the grid. I practiced this so much. I skipped nations as well to make sure I could have the best opportunity possible. Long sweeping corners, front wheel drive car, it's always going to struggle. And you can see Moira and Snake overhead, teammates racing as well. Citroen getting ahead of Moira. So I think Moira was letting him go there because in terms of fuel, the Citroen is better. If he's behind Snake, he can actually save some fuel as well. So obviously first couple of laps I'm going to be fine. Then the car is going to start to struggle on the 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th lap. It will always struggle, this car, because of the tyres. Front wheels are doing both the turning, accelerating, and some of the braking. As you see, Snake runs a little bit wide at the chicane. Moira has to slow down a lot to avoid contact. And we go through. We actually go through and get the lead. This was like the perfect scenario for me in this race. Honestly, you guys went nuts for that. And we bring the pug train back again. So being in the lead at this point is good because we can have a couple of laps where we're on point. And then after that, we can, fight a little bit, try and keep with 2nd, 3rd position, and then from there, really get an advantage, basically. So, leaving that corner, we accelerate out, and lap number 3 at this point, so you see we kept the position. We tried to race smart here. We've got Snake behind us. Moira lost it somewhere, I can't remember where. We've got Aug behind him, we've got Key in there, we've got Spider. We haven't seen Spider in a very long time, so nice to see Spider in these races. As you can see, we've pulled a little bit of a gap. If you look at the top right hand side, the mini-map, we have a bit of a gap there. So we continue on all the same, going to the left, and then the right-hander. And as you see, Snake is very close at this point. Snake's going to struggle he'll be getting frustrated with me there because I can't do that much. And I said on each lap individually that I would let Snake go if he got the overlap. Remember, race smart. If I'm ahead, I get the corner. If I'm not ahead, and Snake's sort of on my inside, I will make sure I don't lose a lot of time. I don't want to battle for days. So I see Snake is so much further ahead. I'll let him go here. So I can take a normal line through the chicane and I don't lose a lot of time. Remember, I've got to think of overall race time at this point, not race positions, because at the end of the day, at the end, the higher I am, the more chance of making this top 24 Superstars. I don't care where I come at this point. I just want fast racing. Snake's going to be very quick in that Citroen. It's still going to have all its tyres. He will be able to push me along a little bit in terms of slipstream as well on the straights. I flash in there. That flash was literally to say, I'm not overtaking you, Snake. Go, 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 go. Just go for it, lad. Let's see what we can do. We can push away even further. Just get a bit of understeer because the tyres starting to struggle now. Aug right behind us with a lot of penalties as well. Aug was kind of smart with this. Don't take a penalty straight away. Just keep racing until the end. Now, Aug also races even more smart than ever, because he pushes me along for a while. He knows he can't overtake me on the straights, and he's going to struggle to get me on the straights. So he races so smart, this guy. It's unbelievable. So I continue on. He says I'm going to try and go for the undercut. One thing I didn't mention to you guys at the start of this particular race is that I picked out a perfect strategy for this car. A perfect strategy in terms of fuel. I knew exactly where I wanted to shift the car. I knew exactly how much fuel I would end up with, depending on when I wanted to come in, with a lap 6 or lap 7. I wanted to stay out as long as possible so that I could keep that position, maintain track position. But I knew the undercut was possible by a few of these guys. As you can see, Snake's about to come in. That Citroen is mega on fuel, but look at my fuel, 34. That's what a lot of guys came in with a previous lap. So I know I've done well here. So we fast forward this little bit of the old pit stop, we come out in second position in front of TRL Aug, far enough ahead of TRL Aug where we have maintained position. So at this point, it's all about maintaining it. We've got one less lap to do on the tyres, and that's all we've got to do. So we're going to advance a little bit now to lap number 10. Aug is right behind us at this point. Look on the mini-map, there's Snakes miles ahead. We then got Aug right behind me, and then we've got Key, and then Moira, and then Jomas and Spider. They're sort of in the positions. I want top 5, top 4, top 3. Higher, as I say, I am. More chance of qualifying for top 24 superstars, which we need in order to qualify Peugeot for the World Finals. So Aug was pushing me there through that little bit. Again, with Aug, same as Snake, if he got an overlap, I was going to let him go. I see he just gets the overlap there, does it very well. Oh, that's unbelievable driving by Aug. Gets the overlap. I'm not going to fight him at this point. I'm going to let him go. He's got a 15-second penalty. I'm still effectively in second place as well. But he was pushing me along. He gave me a lot. And the great thing was, at the World Tour event, TRL Aug was my teammate in Peugeot, in the World Tour event, the exhibition event that Polyphonia holds. So I just thought that was so fitting to have Aug as my teammate after this race. It was brilliant. As you see, Aug gets a few slowdowns there just from cut. It's not even proper cuts in my mind, but up to 19.4 seconds. Key right behind us now. So Key is going to be on our gearbox in no time. It's not even a gearbox actually, because it's front engine, front wheel drive. So he's just going to be on the back of the car where the exhaust tips are. So we continue on now towards the last lap. Now we're going to show the whole of this last lap because it's insane, and you'll see one of the best overtaking moves I've seen from anybody in quite a long time. So into the first corner we go. Again, we're struggling with tyres at this point. Look at our tyres, so far down. This car, remember, has to turn and accelerate with them. Out struggling with tyre wear as well. The front engine in that GTR really punishes the tyres, but at least he can turn a little bit better than I can, but he still can't get the rotation like the rear wheel drive cars can. Through here we go, really struggling with speed. We should be 4 or 5 mile an hour up on our speed there. So I go defensive straight away. Go defensive early, gives Key an indication where I'm going. So into the braking zone I go, and Moira goes round the outside. Unbelievable move. One of the best moves you will ever see on this game. Absolutely unbelievable. So an overtake within an overtake there. Absolutely brilliant stuff by Moira. Really good racer. Into the chicane we go. So we're just trying to stick with Key at this point because, again, we're in third position effectively at the moment. Moira's got 4.4 second penalty. Ao's got the 20 second penalty basically. If we stay with Key, we can keep third position. That's all we want. Top 3 is brilliant in this car. Coming into the hairpin, Key knew I was probably thinking about it. I'd tell you I was thinking about going for the overtake. I had every opportunity there, but I wasn't going to go aggressive because, again, as I've just said, Moira was up ahead, or Aug was up ahead. As long as we keep within that gap, we still gain positions. So going into here, we both clip that sort of inside bump. Key gets a penalty, and he gets another one for that exit. Now, the inside one, I get 2 seconds, I get. The outside one, where he gets another 2.1, it's even more than 2.1, isn't it? It's 3.1. The outside one I do not get, so it's really unfortunate for Key there to get that many penalties on the effectively the last sector. So obviously all the guys taking penalties up ahead, we're going to get second. We get second. Mission Impossible 1 achieved. We did it. We absolutely did it 100%. You have no idea how happy I was. The stream was going nuts. Oh my word, we did it. We've made the top 24 superstar race with this result. We had to do it. We had to get this result, and we did it. The high was unbelievable. You will never see an RTZ Group 4 car have such an insane race on a track where it's so weak. With that type of lobby as well, because it had some ridiculous drivers in terms of pace. Absolutely fantastic. Fantastic racing from everybody there. Fair play to everybody. Big shout out to TRL Aug. Oh my god, that was unbelievable. But yes, we got the points. I mean, look at this. We needed 2,000. We got 2,497. I think we needed 2,100. We got enough, put it that way, in terms of points. And trust me, that was a ridiculous result. And I was so happy. So then we obviously get to the top 24 superstars. Are we going to make the world final? This is Mission Impossible 2. We get the lobby coming up as well. So you can see I'm still waiting. But yes, Mission Impossible 2. Can we make the world tour? So here we are at Interlagos. As you can see, top right side, I was bloody quick. That was the second or third fastest time globally. And that was in the RTZ. And we still have potential to go quicker So Lars there getting the first position. Nico, I think in the Americas region, had the 31-1. So we had the chance here. Mission Impossible 2 was a go. All we had to do was put the result in. And we'd done some practice races, so we knew what we were doing in terms of strategies, in terms of where we would be with pace, in terms of other cars. We needed top 2 or top 3, and we make the World Finals with Peugeot. Mission Impossible 2 is a go. That's all I can say. As you can see, preparing to match, so we've got to wait. Just got to wait. Sorry, it says round 9 at the top. It was round 10. I forgot to change the overlay on the live stream. And as you can see, everybody in live stream was getting ready for this race. And look at this kind of lobby we got. So 24 drivers, all in different manufacturers. It was going to be absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I knew exactly what I was doing in terms of quality strats, race strats. I had it all in my head. And as you see there, Acid Boy saying don't stop streaming. I will never stop streaming, don't you worry. I will try my best in everything that I do. Heart rate a little higher than normal before a race, just because we're nervous here. We've got to do it as we prepare, and that happened. It was a horrible feeling. It just kicked us out to this screen after all the practice we'd done. We'd done a Nations Cup final, top 24 final. I didn't practice for that. I practiced for this. I put a lot of time in, similar to the Amagua race, and this happened. I was gutted. Fortunately for us, well, I think there was a possibility, very much big possibility, of us actually making the World Final with that. But fortunately, we had the chance at the World Tour event to race with Peugeot and try and get a succession there. And as you can see, the stream was frustrated by it as well. 4 guys got kicked, so it was me, it was Matu, Stefan Senka, and there was one other guy who got kicked. I can't remember. There's one other guy as well. We were all extremely frustrated. Afo was the other guy who got kicked. It was gutting, absolutely gutting. Really was. But anyway, as I say, we actually got a bit of a result for Peugeot at the World Tour, so make sure you tune into that video. I'm assuming you've all watched it already, you know, with the live stream and stuff. But if you haven't, make sure you go and watch the GT Sport live stream, Austria World Tour event. If you want to wait for my review, that will be coming to the channel. I will tell you all my thoughts and feelings, and you will see the result there as well. But that has been the Manufacturers Cup FIA Season 3 review with Peugeot. Even with that bad ending, it was still an amazing story. We had the Pug train, we had Pug power, and it is the end of Peugeot as well, because you guys have chosen Audi as my manufacturer. So we will have to see how we do with Audi in the off seasons, and then the FIA Manufacturers Cup in 2019. So that's it for the reviews. I'll see you in the Manufacturers Cup for those videos. But otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Thank you so much for the support in all the live streams, either my own or GT Sports. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for everything. But that's it for now. I will see you in the next video. Ciao.